Alrighty, everybody. So this is going to be the first problem in Chapter 10. This is the ball joint assembly. So I've opened a new assembly file here. Just like I showed you in the first video, we're going to click Insert Component here. Let me actually, before I insert a component, let me switch over to another file. This is the T-joint that they talk about in the book. So in order to get this file, you can either try and make it yourself using some of the dimensions off the other center ball joint and the ball joint arm. That's a good challenging problem. Go for it. That's a great way to practice. But if you just need the part to get this assembly done, what you're going to want to do is in the beginning of the book, the very first couple of pages, there's a section called About This Book. In there, there's a website link that you're going to want to type into your browser and go to the website. There you'll be able to download a folder. That folder it'll probably take a little while to download. It's full of all kinds of part files that are used in each chapter, files that you need to download. We're not going to use all of them, but this is one that you will need. So go ahead and download that. You're going to have to, it's a zipped file, so you'll have to do, right click on the file after it downloads and click extract all. Once it finishes extracting everything from the folder, you'll be able to open the files in SolidWorks. So find this file in those downloads. This is again the T-joint, and this is going to be one of the parts that you'll need. The other parts we're going to be using are ones that we've made: center ball joint, and if I can get it to switch here, and the ball joint arm. Okay, so let's go back to our assembly here. So we're in a new assembly. I'm going to click Insert Component, and it'll pull up the files I've opened, or again, you can browse for those files. So we're going to start with the center ball joint. I'm going to turn on the view of the origins here. I clicked on the little eyeball. We'll turn on our assembly origin and our part origins so that you can see them both. And I'm just going to come over here and click the check mark I'm not placing this in space. I'm just going to click the check mark, and that'll lock our origins together there. So now we have the center ball joint. I need to bring in a ball joint arm. Okay, that's the next piece here. Place it wherever you want. You can place it on top of this. It doesn't matter. Just click and place it. So I showed you the concentric mate in the first video. We're going to use that mate again for all of these here. So really what I want to do is the ball needs to go in the socket. So the ball in the center ball joint needs to go in the socket of the ball joint arm. Okay. So we're going to want to click these spherical surfaces here. So I'm going to click mate up at the top, and then I'm going to select those two surfaces that I just talked about. Okay, and they're automatically going to line up together. So again, just like when we were talking more or less in 2 dimensions with the concentric mate, now you're seeing that you can also use the concentric mate for spheres. Again, those parallels are going to, those surfaces are going to stay parallel to each other, and the center points are going to be coincident with each other. And so that'll make these two, because they're both circular or spherical surfaces, they will line up together. And so now you can see I can move it all around. I've controlled 3 of the degrees of freedom, so it can't move forward. Again, this point's more or less anchored, so we can't go in the Z direction or the X direction or in the Y direction up and down. It's not going to pull off of that ball there, but it can rotate around every axis. Okay, so now we've got one arm on there. We need to insert another arm, so we'll go ahead and do that. We'll just hold Control and then drag the first arm to make a second arm. Okay, and same mate again. I'm going to click mate. I'm going to select the ball, and I'm going to select the socket. So I already had a face selected before. I need to delete these out. I accidentally selected something else. So we'll select the ball here and the surface, the inside surface of the socket there, and those will line up. Click the check mark. I'm done with the mates there. So now we've got a second ball joint arm attached on here, okay? So now we need to bring in the third component, which was the T-joint that I was talking about at the beginning of this video. We'll go ahead and place that out here. And we're just going to do a mate from one ball to one socket and then for the other side as well. So I'm going to select mate. Once you turn on mate, notice it stays on until you actually exit out of this, whether you save or close. Either way, but this will stay active so I can do multiple mates. So I'll select the ball here and the socket here, and we'll watch that slide to line up. I'll click the check mark here on the screen, and you'll see the mates clear out, but I'm still ready to do my next mate. So then I can select the ball here and just rotate so you can see the surface of the socket here. And that one lines up. And now, ooh, we can do some weird things. So now you can move that around. You can grab it by whatever you want to move things. Pretty cool. So you just do the same on the other side, and then this one's complete. So this one's pretty quick and straightforward. The next one's a little bit more there's an advanced mate, and you'll be doing a couple different types of mates. This one's all the same. So yeah, that'll do it for this.